Hey everybody, Jim the Tabletop Engineer here, and welcome to a new episode. In the description below, you're going to find a link to a PDF that contains the cut plans for the gaming table that I'm building for my new workshop here. Now, a few things about this, about the document. If you download it, you're going to notice that I tell you to purchase 3 2x4x10s, 4 2x4x8s, and 4 2x4 x ½ inch thick pieces of plywood. Now here's the reason why. I have tried to minimize the amount of waste that that making this project will produce. So when you look at this document, you're going to see little pieces on the ends of these 2x4s that don't have a length on them. Those are waste, and again, they're not. There's not a lot of it. So if you want to build the table just as I'm doing, same dimensions, everything like that, download this document, follow the cut plans. Now, one more caveat. I purchased a single 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of ½ inch plywood at the hardware store, and I had them cut it into 4 equal pieces, 2x4. All right. You will save money by doing that, but you can also, if your hardware store, for example, doesn't do that, you can usually at like Home Depot and Lowe's, you can find single 2x4 sheets, ½ inch thick, and you'll just need 4 of those. Individually, I don't know what they're going to charge, but by the time you add up 4 of them, I suspect it will be a little more than buying a single large sheet of 4x8 plywood. So definitely call or go in and ask your hardware store or your lumber store if they will cut it down for you. What I've been told is don't go in the mornings. Obviously, that's when contractors are in. They just don't have time to do it. I've been told the best time to go in and buy a big piece of plywood and have them cut it is like in the late afternoon or even the evenings. Not near close, though, mainly because they're just not as busy at that time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this camera outside because all the cutting I'm going to be doing is going to produce some serious sawdust, and I don't have a really good dust collection system. So I'm going to be doing all the cutting outside. I will mute it because it's going to be loud, and I'm also going to time lapse it so you don't have to sit there and watch me cut like I think it's 19 total parts. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 plus 8, 19 pieces, and I've already got these pieces cut. Okay, so there you go. I've cut all 19 pieces out of the 2x4s. And like I said earlier, I already have the 4-foot by 8-foot piece of plywood, ½ inch thick, cut into 4 equal pieces. 2 of those will make the tabletop, and 2 of those will make the storage area underneath the work table. I suggest you print out the cut sheet that I created. It makes for a nice checklist so you don't get confused. Some of the 48-inch pieces and the 45-inch pieces, they're only 3 inches different. They can look the same. So you really want to keep track of the pieces you cut so that you build the table properly. Now, I also showed you 2 pictures of all the pieces cut, and then I took 2 of the 48-inch pieces and 2 of the 45-inch pieces, and I test fit them together to make the square tabletop. What you didn't see in there was there's also a brace piece that's also 45 inches that will go down the middle just to support the plywood on top. Now, do you have to be very, very accurate with these cuts? Well, I mean, always try to be as accurate as you can. I used a compound miter saw, as you saw in the videos, but you could easily use like a circular saw, just a handheld circular saw to cut these 2x4s, or you could use a hand saw. If you don't have any power equipment, you're going to burn some calories and you're going to get hot and sweaty if you do it outside like I did. But I have done that in the past. I have used a hand saw to cut plywood. It just depends on what tools you have access to. Now, I can tell you, if you live in a neighborhood and you know the people in your neighborhood, chances are somebody around you has a compound miter saw like what you saw me using. It's very nice because you can use it to cut pieces the same length every time. It's kind of hard to show in the video, but and I don't want to get into too much carpentry here because that's not what this video is about, but I use a miter stand table that allows me to put end stops. So once I get one piece all the way over and measured, when I cut it, I can set the end stop, and then I can slide the next piece to that end stop, cut, and those two pieces will be, you know, an equal length. So I cut a bunch of 45-inch pieces. You saw me doing the 45s. Then I cut the 48-inch pieces, and then I cut the that one odd piece, 22.5. Oh, and at the very beginning, of course, I cut the 8 legs, each of which will be made from 2 parts that are put together. Now, in tomorrow's video, and I'm going to try my best to release these every day. In tomorrow's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the frame. I'm actually going to attach all the pieces together minus the plywood. I'm going to be using a process called pocket holes. You can use straight screws, self-tapping screws, 2.5-inch length, or even 3-inch length is what I recommend, to go straight through the plywood into the pieces that you're attaching it to. But tomorrow, the video, I'll show you the pocket holes I'm using. It's just an easier way to do it, and I think it makes a stronger table. Now, this table is not going to be holding, you know, thousands of pounds, so it probably doesn't matter. Use whatever method you can use. You will need a drill or an electric screwdriver because powering 2.5 or 3-inch screws through these things is not easy. So definitely you're going to need some kind of power tool for drilling holes and screwing screws in. All right, that's all I have for you today. Again, if you have any questions, post in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Please keep in mind, I am not a professional carpenter. If you saw me make some mistakes, let it go. Just don't care. I wear eye shields, I wear hearing protection, and I always know where my hands are. Those are my safety things. You know, techniques, everybody has different ways of doing things. If you have a different way of doing it, do it your way. But I'd rather address questions about the table itself or how I came up with the idea or what have you, not necessarily any critiques of how I'm putting it together. Again, you can put it together however you like, but if you want to build it like I'm doing, I'll explain the processes that I'm using to do so. All right, that's it for this video. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me, and I will be here Wednesday with a new crafting video, but the video following this one will continue the gaming table assembly. So everyone, take care.
Each month, Bexham's Bizarre RPG and Wargaming magazine provides gamers with articles, props to print and cut out for players, mini adventures, new monsters, and much more. Look in the description below for details on how to get a few free issues so you can see what you're missing.